All right, so here we are. So having a belt and a block, and we're going to start lying down with the block under the sacrum and having that belt right nearby. All right, making your way to your mat, taking all the time you need. Make sure you can reach the belt easily. And there's that block underneath your legs, taking a few moments. Inhale and exhale, letting go. Really feeling the weight of the body into the floor. And then we will lift up, putting that block under the sacrum, sliding the legs out. And we'll push on the block near your waist to get a little traction. And as you're ready, you can bring the arms down alongside. And then your body arrives in this new shape, this new place, and bringing your attention back to the breath. Inhaling and exhaling, gently cooperating with the block. And then we will just take a few more breaths here, maybe a little more intently cooperating with the block. And let's take a stretch overhead with the arms, reaching from the fingertips to the heels, a little press down to the back of the hand on the floor. If the back, see the back of the hand should reach the floor for everybody. And then we will bend the knees, lifting up off that block, taking it out, rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae, landing on the floor. And then just a short drop the knees over to the left. Rolling through the center, dropping the knees over to the right. And back to the center. And then making your way up to sitting. And let's sit in Sukhasana with the crossed legs. And we will all put our right leg in front, and I'll be the only one who has to remember. And giving a lift up, space between the vertebrae, space in the hip sockets. And slowly release with the arms. Reaching out wide through the collarbones, through the fingertips. Feeling that length through the spine, that rest against the wall behind. And then breathing the arms up overhead. Inhale and exhale, pouring out through the fingertips. Let's take a cactus pull. Pull the elbows down, lift the upper chest. Extend the arms back up, and then we'll bring them down the center in namaste. Hands together, drawing down the center line. Wide elbows, wide collarbones. Thumbs coming into the sternum. Closing your eyes. Bringing your attention even more inside yourself. And then let's breathe those arms back up the center line. Two long parallel sides, and then doing the cactus pull again. Lengthen up and coming forward, reaching out and over, breathing across the back of the body. Coming up, unfurling that spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, taking a couple breaths here. Landing back up on top of those sitting bones. And then bringing the legs straight out in front. Reach through the heels. Lifting the arms up overhead, coming forward any amount. You can bring the hands down to the legs if you want. Not going to be here that long. We're rolling back to the floor. And then really contracting back in those abdominal muscles, rolling yourself down to the floor vertebrae by vertebrae, maybe using the hands alongside to help. And here we are, back down on the floor. There's your belt nearby. And let's bend that right leg in, reaching long from the right knee out that left heel. And then belt around the right foot. There we go. And extending that right leg up to the ceiling, reaching a little more through the left leg along the floor. Breathing out through both legs and along through the top of the hands. And then really press those abdominal muscles down. We'll lift our left leg a few inches off the floor. And then reaching that left leg back down to the floor, switching the belt into the right hand, bringing that leg out to the diagonal side, trying to keep that left hip anchored down as best you can. Inhale and exhale, breathing through that right inner thigh out the right heel, breathing down through the left inner thigh out the left heel. And then bring that right leg up, passing the belt off to the left hand, right arm out to the side, taking that right leg across to the left. And if it seems a little too intense with the straight leg, you can always bend the left leg, putting the left inner foot, right inner foot, bending the right leg, there we go, right inner foot on the inside of the left leg. All right, let's breathe. And then one more deep breath here. Coming back up to the center. And we will bring that right leg down. And then getting everything resituated here in Supta Tadasana, like you're standing on the opposite wall. And then we will bend the left leg in, taking a few breaths, just pulling that thigh into the chest, letting the front of that right hip open up as we reach through the heel. And then belt around the left foot, extending the left leg up, reaching a little more through the right leg, long through the top of the head. Breathing deeply and evenly. And then let's reach through that right leg on the floor, lifting the right leg a few inches up off the floor. Pressing the abdominal muscles down. And then reaching that right leg back down to the floor. Belt into the left hand and right arm onto the side as we take the left leg over to the left. Breathing through that left inner thigh and out the heel. Breathing down through the right inner thigh and out the heel. Doing your best to keep that right hip anchored down. And then let's bring that left leg up to the center, passing the belt off to the right hand, left arm out to the side, taking the left leg over to the right, and maybe bending the left leg, putting the foot on that inner right thigh if it's a little too intense with the straight leg. Keep breathing out through the heels, out through the top of the head. And back up to the center. And we'll bring that left leg down. And then let's bend the knees. And coming up in a bridge pose. Rolling that tailbone up, peeling up vertebrae by vertebrae, and interlocking the fingers, rolling those upper arms out a little more. You can also bend the arms, taking the hands up onto the sacrum to give a little encouragement there. And feeling the weight on those feet. Are you balanced across and along the foot evenly? So especially we tend to roll to the outer edge of the foot. So seeing if that inner heel is down, base of the big toe down. And maybe noticing, do you have a little more weight in your heels or the ball of the foot? Usually there is a little more weight in the heels. I want to feel that whole foot on the floor. And 2 or 3 more breaths here. Rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae, landing on the floor. And then let's make our way back up to sitting. Once again to the crossed leg Sukhasana, this time with the left leg in front. Finding that long and spacious spine. Take a moment with the hands resting on the knees. Inhaling and exhaling, letting everything we just did settle into your body. We're at a different place than last time we were sitting in Sukhasana. And then let's reach out wide through the fingertips and we'll take a side bend. Let's see, I'll be the mirror here. Let's breathe the right arm up and over. Breathing along that right side, anchoring the right sitting bone down. Pulling that right shoulder back a little more with a big inhale, and on exhale, reaching for that left diagonal. Taking a few breaths here. And to the center forward. Coming up, unfurling that spine. And then let's side bend to the other side. Breathing up through the left arm, up and over. Lengthening out through that left side, grounding the left sitting bone down. And then trying to open that left shoulder a little more. Big inhale and exhale, reaching down to the right diagonal. And to the center. And then coming up, rolling back up. And let's come up in downward facing dog. So we already have improved hamstrings. And walking the dog or anything else you want to do. Walking the dog is good for also the ankles and the calves. And then finding the best downward facing dog you can do at this moment. Nothing moving but the breath. And let's lengthen forward to the plank, long and flat against the ceiling, finding that core working. And then bend the knees. We're coming down to all fours, slowly setting those knees down, taking a couple cats and cows, and then we're going to Asta Namaskar, knees, chest, chin to the floor, or however you need to get to the floor onto your belly. All right, nice big arch in the back, feeling that hinge back in the hips, a little bend of the elbows, pulling those hands and knees toward each other as you pull the upper chest forward, shoulders down by the fingertips, deep in the arch if you can, sliding out to the small cobra, and and coming down. So here we all are on the floor. Let's go to the Sphinx. Bringing those arms forward, reaching from the elbows to the fingertips, pulling yourself forward and up. Tuck that tailbone down, reach back through the legs. And maybe have a little bit more lift. The elbows will come up or lighten. And then rolling down. And we will peel ourselves back up to downward facing dog. Maybe a little cat and cow ripple along the way and downward facing dog. Let's lift our right leg up, reaching long through the heel like you're pressing that right foot into the belt. Reach a little longer, reach the left heel down toward the floor. And then through to the lunge. Inhale and exhale. Long line from the top of the head out, that left heel. Let's take a twist to the right. And then really reaching up through that right arm, bring the left knee down to the floor. We can sink a little into that twist. And a big reach around with the right arm, coming to Anjayasana, bringing the arms up. A little more strength and lift in the core. And then a big reach down the side, straighten up the left leg, straighten up the right leg, hinging back. So we're going to keep our left heel parallel for the moment. And so doing your best to straighten the right leg, pulling back up from the knee up to the hip, pouring over that right leg as much as you can. And then we'll lunge again to step forward. Into the concave back, halfway up, folding over. Deep breath. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And around to namaste in front. And then let's make our way back over. Big inhale up and diving over. Concave back, folding over. Let's step back with the left leg, so we're in our right lunge again. And we'll just come up in the high lunge here on the right. And then bringing the arms down, continuing back to the plank, stepping back with that right leg through the vinyasa, any version you want. I'm doing kneeling, plank, and chaturanga. And then we will all meet up in downward facing dog. And we'll do that all around on the left, lifting that left leg, reaching long through the heel, pushing that left heel into something like the belt. And feeling the right heel also reaching down into the floor. Big inhale and exhale through to the lunge. And we will twist to the left. And then really reaching up through that left arm, pulling the right knee down. You can kind of let yourself have a little sink into this. And then bringing that left arm around, coming to Manjayasana, the kneeling lunge. A little more strength and lift through the center. And just reaching the arms down, straighten up the right leg, and then we will straighten up the left leg. Pulling the hips back, pulling up the front of that left leg to pull yourself back. And we'll take a few breaths here. And then coming back to the lunge, stepping forward into the concave back, halfway up, folding over. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And then pressing those arms down all the way around to Namaste in front. And then let's come back over. Lifting up and diving over. Concave back, folding over. We will step back with the right leg. Now we have our left lunge again, coming up in the high lunge. Breathing here. And coming down, stepping back to the plank, through the vinyasa, any version, downward facing dog. And let's lift the right leg up. Reaching long through those heels, and we'll bend the knee dog at the high fire hydrant, holding that left leg nice and steady. The steadier and stronger you hold the left leg, the more stretch and open you can get from the right. And then through to the lunge, and turning to the elephant rider. Pressing those knees back, a little swinging in the hips. And now I'm being not the mirror as we straighten up into the three-pointed star. And pressing those arms wide, turning the feet to parallel. Deep breath. Then rotating the right leg out 90 degrees. Make both legs very straight right up through the top of the head. Side bending away, right arm up. Hinging over into the triangle, Trikonasana, like when we had our right leg out to the side in the belt. And you can continue to stay here in the triangle, Or else maybe taking it up to the half moon, a tilted over triangle sort of. Even more like when we had our right leg in the belt. Can you feel a reach through those inner thighs? Even the left inner thigh, even though it's the outer leg we're pressing up, there's still a reach and lift from underneath through the inner thigh. So if you're in the triangle, turn to the lunge and step forward. If you're here in Ardha Chandrasana, just take a little bend of the right leg to bring the left leg down. And then we'll all be standing with a little bend in the knees at the front of the mat and coming up in Utkatasana, the chair pose. And then straighten the legs over to the forward bend. Lengthen out. We're going to take a twist to the right here, bringing that right arm up, making the legs as straight as you can. And we're coming up to standing from here, reaching through that right arm, reaching behind you, left arm comes up, and then the right arm swoops down and up to meet the left in the front body yawn. And arms down and around to namaste in front. And I'm just going over to the other side. And let's come over. Big inhale up. And diving over. Let's do that twist again that we just did. Twisting right, so we'll do the right again. And then reaching up with the right arm. Now, hopefully we know a little more where we're going, so we can feel it a little bit more. Into the front body yawn. And then we'll just dive right back over. And concave back, folding over, jumping or stepping back through the vinyasa, downward facing dog. And we'll do that all around on the left. Lifting that left leg up. And dog at the high fire hydrant. Really anchor that right leg in place. Don't let that right heel swivel. Lifting up through the left knee. And through to the lunge. Turning to the elephant rider. Feet on the diagonal, pressing the knees out. And then straightening up, rotating those thigh bones even more into the hip joints. Pressing the arms down, feet to parallel. Take a deep breath here. And then let's rotate that left leg out 90 degrees and make both legs straight. Really pulling up through the top of the head. Side bending away, lifting up the left side. And then hinging over into the triangle, Trikonasana. Breathing into the center, pouring out, feeling a little like you're flattened against the wall behind you. And then you can stay here in the triangle or coming up to Ardha Chandrasana, the half moon. And then wherever we are, looking for those inner thighs. What are they doing? Reaching up and back through that right inner thigh. Even down in the triangle, you're reaching through that right inner thigh with a little press out of the outer leg. There on the left leg, that inner thigh is both pulling up and going down. And then we're going to make our way forward, either lunge and step forward, or just bring that right leg down with a little bend in the knees. And here we all are. Take a deep breath. Utkatasana, the chair pose. And releasing over. And we'll lengthen out, and we'll take a twist to the left with the legs as straight as you can. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll come up to standing from here, reaching through that left arm, right arm comes up, and then they windmill around. Left arm goes down, comes up, meets the right in the front body, yawn. And arms down and around to namaste in front. And here we are. Let's come over. And diving over. So we'll take the twist to the left again. Lengthening out, twisting left. And then reaching up through the left arm, a big windmill around into the front body yawn. And diving over. Concave back, folding over, jumping or stepping back through the vinyasa or not. And then let's Asta Namaskar ourselves to the floor again. Coming forward to the plank. Bending the knees, coming down on all fours. Big arch in the back, feeling a pull of the hands and knees toward each other as you bring the shoulders forward and down. And sliding out to the small cobra. And coming down. So let's all come to the small cobra position here, or the cobra position. And we'll take 3 of those cobras, really working the upper back, elbows back, long through the top of the head, lengthening up, lengthening down. Oh, we have a little add-on for the next 2. Lifting the right leg as you come up. A little lift in that right leg. And coming down, and then the left leg, and coming down, and we'll do that once more, right and left. So we really did 5 cobras, I think. And then let's bring those arms forward to our Sphinx again. Lengthening out tailbone down. And then as if we're bridge posing into the floor, reach through the legs, bend the knees. Feeling the heels and the upper back pulling toward each other. Maybe this is good enough to stay and hold here, trying to reach the toes and the top of the head to the ceiling. Next step, interlocking the fingers there. And next, getting hold of the ankles, so we're in the bow pose, lengthening to lift. And wherever we are, breathing. And coming down. And then we will peel ourselves back up. A couple ripples along the way into downward facing dog. Lengthening everything out here. And then we'll lengthen to that plank once again, holding long and flat against the ceiling. And then bend the knees, bringing the knees to the floor. And this time we will come up standing on our knees. So make those knees about hip distance apart. Pulling the hip bones up, tailbone down. And let's do an Ustrasana, the camel pose. Hands on the sacrum or maybe around the hips there. And coming up and over. So like we were when we were lying on the floor just now. And can you get a little feeling of pulling the heels up toward the upper back? Really engaging the back muscles here. So you're not just hanging. And coming up long through the top of the head. Let's breathe those arms up, and we will cactus arms here. Pulling the elbows down, lift the chest, lengthen back up. Let's do that twice more. And then once more into Ustrasana, the camel pose. So either the hands back on the sacrum of the hips, or maybe going all the way back to the heels. And then wherever we are, breathing deeply, feeling that strength in the back. And then we will come back up. Making our way down. Let's do some cats and cows, either on all fours or sitting on their heels. Really feeling every moment of the cat, every moment of the cow, slowing things down again. Back bends tend to get us a little agitated. The parasympathetic nervous, I'm getting mixed up. The sympathetic nervous system gets riled up. And then bringing yourself down to child's pose, taking a few breaths into that back of the body, feeling that expand. So we can also use our breath to ease and open the lower back. And coming up, up. No time on the clock, but we'll just have more time anyway. So you can come down to the floor into Shavasana. You can come down to the floor figure four into Shavasana. You can take a brief pigeon, a brief but mindful pigeon, which is what I'm going to do here. So if you're doing the pigeon or the figure four, here we are with our right leg forward or right leg crossed over, lying on the floor. Taking a few breaths if you're in this upright pigeon, and then coming forward and over. And really feeling every moment of every breath. Softening the face and the jaw, slowing the breath down. Bringing yourself halfway into Shavasana already. And coming up out of the pigeon or switching legs in the figure four. And up here in the upright pigeon, a few breaths in that cobra action, and then coming over. And coming back out of the pigeon or the figure four. And we will all be in Shavasana for a few minutes. Inhale and exhale, melting into the floor. Every breath letting go a little more. And then breathing back into your body, into this room. Moving the fingers and toes, getting the circulation going. And slowly bending the legs. Stretching the arms up overhead. Rolling onto your side and coming up to sitting. And sitting in any comfortable position with that long and spacious spine. Taking a few more moments sitting quietly inside yourself. Namaste. Thank you for coming.